What is up, everybody? It is Life's Apprentice. It's Friday, running some dumpsters. I was running dumpsters the last couple days this week. Yesterday I ran dumpsters. I did not film, but I got this 20-yard on here that I got to the dump, and we're gonna drop this off, give you guys a tour of the yard. That would mean we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10 20 yards, 2 10 yards, and 9 15 yards. So if you guys remember from last week, I'm telling you, this happens to us all the time, where it goes in phases, and we're sold out of the 20 yards, and then the 20 yards come back, and then it's 15 yards. I can't explain it, but it happens all the time. And if you guys remember last week, we were basically out of 20 yards and 15 yards up the wazoo, and now we're in that cycle, bringing the 20 yards back and taking the 15 yards out. So today's topic is going to be, is the dumpster business a fad? I've had an idea for this video for like 8 months and I didn't make it, and I feel like it would have been, I feel like it's more relevant now than it would have been 8 months ago. But I feel like I should have made it 8 months ago. But that's what we're going to talk about today. And obviously, when I say a fad, 100% the dumpster business is not a fad. But through COVID and everything like that, and a lot of small dumpster startups starting, I feel like it is relevant in today's day and age, because I think a lot of people that got into the business were in it for a couple of years, and you know, now the business is getting a little bit tougher and they're getting out, which I guess defines, you know, kind of what a fad is. When it's easy, everyone wants to do it, and when it gets tough, you know, only the toughest survive. So we at Greenhead here are one of the toughest, and we will survive 100%. But we got a pretty busy day. It's a nice cool morning. You could tell the fall temperatures are finally starting to get here. I love this time of the year. And if you guys have not checked out my second channel, my outdoor channel, Wisconsin Outdoors on YouTube, make sure you guys go subscribe over there. That's where all my hunting and fall hunting and fishing and that kind of content is going to be from here on out. But yeah, here we go. We're gonna drop this 20 yard, go pick up a 15. All right, well, we got the first 15 yard picked up. I just did this roof. I dropped this one off last Friday in the video, if you guys saw it. Got this one picked up. Gonna get it to the dump and take it to its new home. So is the dumpster business a fad? Now, overall, absolutely not. But in some ways, I think that it is. I think that when the pandemic hit, and you know, there's a lot of YouTubers popping up, myself included, talking about the dumpster business, it got a lot of people interested in it. And when the pandemic hit, I think a lot of people got sick of their jobs or wanted to start some sort of side hustle or something along those lines. And now the pandemic is gone, and it seems like the big rush for the dumpster business and startups and stuff like that is kind of dying, which is a healthy thing. That's a good thing. I want to promote and help people get into the business, but on the other side, too much of that is bad for everybody, because it just dilutes the market and it makes it hard for everybody to make a living or, you know, have a successful side hustle. Now, a little history. I started my YouTube channel before I owned the dumpster business, and I never knew that there was anyone on YouTube talking about the dumpster business. And really the only one that I know of that was on YouTube talking about the dumpster business was Martin. And I didn't find Martin until after I had bought my business and started making YouTube videos, and I realized, oh, hey, there's somebody else out doing it. Now, I don't see eye to eye with Martin, nothing against the guy, and sounds like he runs a pretty good business, but anyways, that's besides the point. But I was in the process of buying my dumpster business for 3 or 4 years before it actually finally happened. And then it happened, and we were going through, it took about 6 months to officially, from the time I committed to buying the business to myself taking over. And then when I took over was like literally March 20th of 2020, which I didn't even know what COVID was at that time, and it was just starting to pop up. But then COVID hit, and I started doing dumpster videos and stuff like that, and it got some traction, and a lot of people were interested in it, which I totally get. There's also a lot, I don't want to say a lot, but there were several people making YouTube videos that were not being completely straightforward and honest about the dumpster business, and they were sugarcoating the dumpster business and making it look a lot better than it actually was. And if you guys have been following me for a long time, I have never, ever, ever, ever tried to mislead anyone, whether it be with numbers or any sort of success in the dumpster business. And I've tried to explain, and I feel like I've done a way better job than any other dumpster YouTuber, explaining the numbers, explaining, profit margins, and how to get into this business and do it the right way the first time, and not set expectations for you that are unreachable. I think that with a lot of other people, they set unrealistic expectations and profits for the people that were coming into the business and starting. And when those people came into the business and started, they realized that, they got in with the wrong expectations. And so I think that pushed a lot of people potentially out of the business, because they weren't able to start a dumpster business with no advertising and, doing it with X equipment or Z equipment or whatever. So I think there was a boom in YouTube, and there was a boom in interest in the dumpster business throughout that time. That was probably a lot of people getting into the business without being fully prepared, fully funded, and understanding what the dumpster business really is, and the amount of work it takes, the amount of money it takes to get going and grow. And so I think that in that sense, the dumpster business is a fad. Now, what you're seeing right now is, and I've heard from a lot of people, I don't Facebook, and I don't do any of that stuff. So I'm never on there. I'm not in those Facebook groups, and I apologize for that, but that's just my opinion and my belief. I don't do Facebook, never have, never will, Twitter, none of that stuff, because I don't feel like I should be putting myself on there and letting them steal my, information and data and stuff like that. That's just my opinion. But I've heard from a lot of people, as far as the groups, that there's lots of people failing, lots of people struggling, lots of people selling equipment. And right now what you're seeing is all the cream is rising to the top. The people that got into the business that weren't prepared, were underfunded, thought it was going to be easy, they're all getting out of the business. And the people that really put their head down, tried to make a good business, and are, some of them are still in survival mode, but they're not giving up. And those are the people that are going to make it through all of this. So in one sense, the dumpster business is a fad, and in the other sense, it's a great opportunity to start a really good business. So I never want to sound negative, and one of my sayings is, I don't want to discourage you, I just don't want to mislead you. And I guess that's my motto when I'm thinking about talking about business and dumpsters and stuff like that on YouTube. I don't want to discourage you from doing something that you want to do, but I don't want to mislead you into thinking that you're getting into something that you're not, if that makes sense. So in that sense, I do think that the dumpster business is a fad, and I think that a lot of people rushed into it unprepared, and now I think the people that are serious about it are the ones who are going to make it. I've heard so many success stories from people that I've done consultations with, or talked to, even some people that I've never talked to. There's several good examples in my area of people who are absolutely killing it and growing their business despite the increase in competition and the decrease in customers, which we're noticing a decrease in customers this year over last year. We just ran our numbers for August, and last year we did 72 dumpster rentals. This year we did 71 dumpster rentals in August. So we're still doing well. Last year's numbers were just kind of a fluke, I think. And overall, for the entire year, I think we're down about 40 dumpsters year over year. So that's proof, in 8 months, we're down 40 dumpsters. We're advertising more. But that is what it takes to be in this business, stay in this business, and continue to grow in this business. For us, it's going to be hard this year. And I don't think there's a whole lot we can do about it. But all in all, we're surviving. And some of you guys probably need to look at your business in that way too, and understand that, once you get to a certain scale, it becomes a lot harder to grow, in my opinion. When you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dumpsters, it's going to be a lot easier to go from 3 dumpsters to 10 dumpsters than to go from 30 to 40 dumpsters. It's going to be a lot easier to grow at that point. So some of you guys are still in that stage where you're able to grow, and that is freaking awesome. There, we got this one set. To be real careful of the overhang on these tight driveways, because I had to kind of angle the dumpster so that it didn't hit the gutter there. But that's part of it. You have a hook lift truck, you wouldn't be able to set that dumpster where we set it, or any roll-off truck for that matter. You would not have been able to set it there. You would have had to probably offload the dumpster up in the front of the driveway and then back it in once it was on the ground. It is possible, but with these trailers, you're able to get, and I know not every part of the country is like our part. We have some tight driveways, we have big overhangs on the houses and stuff like that. Not every part of the country is like that, but a roll-off truck, even my trailer with a 20-yard on it would have been really tough to get underneath there with the dumpster on the trailer. So say they wanted this back by the garage with a roll-off truck, I don't think you could have done it in any stretch of the imagination. Alrighty, so we just dropped that one off. We got another 15-yard drop-off. They keep changing my schedule, so I had like 3 drop-offs in a row there, but they must have gave them to Tim based on pickups and locations and stuff like that. So I'm scheduled to set this next 15-yard by the dump, and then I have a 10-yard pickup up there. It's really nice with 2 drivers and having Laura coordinate everything and answer the phones. They're changing my schedule like 2 or 3 times already this morning, just to make us more efficient. But back to the topic about the dumpster business being a fad. And like I said, I'm not trying to discourage anybody, and there's still plenty of room to start a business, a dumpster business in most areas, but you really got to want it, and you got to be, fairly business savvy. You got to be willing to work more for less. And I think that this goes for any business at any time. And like I said, I've started multiple businesses in my life, and I've never failed yet. But that's because of my determination. and literally nothing else. Willing to put in the hours, work harder than the next guy, potentially make no money, but just survive. And keep that in mind when you're starting a business. They say something like 90% of all new businesses don't make it past the first 5 years. A lot of that is because people get in over their head. In some cases, they over leverage or borrow too much money. Another thing that I would try to avoid is bringing in investors and partners in any business. I've never done that, other than you know, like taking loans from banks and stuff like that. But when you take a loan or take on debt for your business, you have to understand that in order for you to do that, you have to be willing to do anything and everything to make sure that it doesn't fail. When you're starting with cash, I feel like you will lose a little bit of motivation. And I know this might sound crazy, but having debt on a business or on a vehicle makes me more hungry, and makes me more willing to go the extra mile to make sure that that is covered as far as like the debt payments. So I think in some cases, depending on what kind of person you are and who you are, some of these things that a lot of people tell you is bad could be a huge motivator and a big benefit to you. Now, I'm not saying that everyone should go out and get a whole bunch of debt because it's going to motivate you. You have to be, as an entrepreneur, you have to be self-motivated. You have to get up in the morning because you want to do something for yourself. And you have to put in the work, even though you might not see the results that you want right away. You have to be willing to put in the work over the long run to see those results in the future. And hopefully this makes sense and hits some of you guys. I know some of you, this might go over your head, or you might think I'm crazy. But I hope that some of you, this hits home, because everybody goes about business and does things like this a little bit differently. Everybody has their own ideas. But ultimately, in order to survive in any business, you have to be self-motivated, and you have to be willing to put in the work. A lot of people say that they want to become entrepreneurs because they want more time and they want more freedom. Well, in my experience starting business, nothing could be further from the truth. Now, at this point in my business, I do get more freedom and I do get more time, and I'm able to do things on my own terms. But when I first started my construction business, for about the first 7 years, I never could take a vacation. I never took a day off. I was constantly working to make sure that my business fails. So when you get into a business as a new entrepreneur and you think that you're just going to have all this money and all this time and all this freedom, I'm here to tell you that that is not my experience in business. And if anything, I had less time and less freedom. But the thing that I enjoy is that I am creating something for myself. And that is extremely satisfying to me. And that makes it all worthwhile to me. So let's pick up this 15 yard here, and we'll get this bad boy set at its new home. Oh, there she is. 15 yard set. And I'm gonna go get some fuel and we'll go pick up a 10 yard. It says it is 22 miles from here. People say you need a gooseneck to get into these spots. We got lots more room. It's a tight one though. We got her. You don't need a gooseneck to get into tight spots. I would like you guys to leave your thoughts and your comments as far as the dumpster business being a fad down in the comments section down below. I want to hear what you guys think. And I know that the dumpster industry has changed a lot in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts. All right, we got that 10-yard picked up, got it to the dump. That was a $20 dump. There was not very much stuff in there. $20 is our dump minimum, so that's cool. But as far as the dumpster business being a fad and stuff like that, I think in some cases it is. But ultimately, the dumpster business has been needed for a long time, and it will continue to be needed for many, 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 many years to come. And the United States, especially as a society, has become more wasteful. And the things and products that we buy just don't last like they used to. So I think that, you know, over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, I think that people will be continuing to throw away more stuff than they did 50 or 100 years ago. So I do not think it's a fad. I think that the YouTube sensation and the side hustle side of the dumpster business is in a lot of ways a fad. When you get into any business, you need to get into the business for the right reasons, and you need to make sure that you're educated and prepared for the long road and journey that is being an entrepreneur. So with that, we're gonna call that the end of this video. Don't forget to check out my new channel, Wisconsin Outdoors. Look that up on YouTube. Otherwise, there's a link to my new channel down in the description of all of my recent videos. And I would appreciate it if you guys go over there and subscribe, watch some videos. That's it for this one. As always, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and we will see you guys on the next one.